MerKabas.
Oh, it's really interesting. I'm loving the fact that we're talking about MerKabas because I'm really starting to see how it's so co-opted. Like pushing the tetrahedron, the disinformation surrounding it, everyone's seeing it as a buzz thing. Like it really is a fucking co-opted thing.
I can't even get the fact that the MerKaBa and the geometries are two different things. You know what
you would think that would be like 101 MerKaBa basic knowledge, and it's not. It is fucking not. And people are wearing like all that sacred geometry in abundance on all sorts of things, and it's like the information surrounding it doesn't seem to be a priority. It's more the image of it. That's from where I stand.
I'm digging.
You know?
But it's kind of tribal in the sense that, you know, if someone, for example, is wearing a flower of life pendant or something, and you are, it's like all of a sudden something opens up. Now, whether or not what it means for them means the same thing for you is a whole different ballgame. Just like the Christian cross or a Jewish star or whatever the hell, you know what I mean? So I think it's more a symbol of identification in that sense.
Yeah.
So if you're sort of like hanging with that, that's where you're at, you know. And I know for myself, the flower of life for me, I felt good wearing it. Or I usually, when I haven't got on today, but yeah, I feel good wearing it, you know, I like it. But remember, we're talking, the work that we work with doesn't have straight lines, it's spherical.
Yes, to
for me, the straight lines is how they bound the infinite or how they bind the infinite.
Yeah.
Right? So, or how they define the infinite. They try and give the endless form, shape. You know, it's definitely worth exploring. But this I won't. Right? So to me, sorry, if your healing modality isn't bringing you into fucking beauty, love, I don't want to know about it.
Yeah. I know.
I don't give a fuck. No, I mean, I want my body to reflect my truth. You know, and if I'm looking old and fucking drained, then I'm old and fucking drained. I know that this template can be immortal because all it's doing is manifesting in this reality my soul experience. It's immortal. The program in these bodies at the moment, or in some bodies, is atrophy based on Fibonacci.
Yeah, that makes so much. Yes.
So just playing with words, playing with concepts, playing.
Oh, it's there was so much talk on those forums about how the relationship between AI or that artificial intelligence and its
to be clear, for us, is an intelligence that has no sentience, which means it does not, for us, have a connection to source and base program.
How it's struggling to understand, it does not understand spirit, or it doesn't understand the unpredictable creative force of soul or source.
No, it doesn't not understand it. I just don't think it has the ability. It's spread itself out. It doesn't have that ability anymore.
Well, of course, and yet it wants that, and it wants to replicate that. And the way in which they try and do it, I'm starting to see the little ways in which they try and mirror that, like with the Fibonacci and the spiral. They tried to kind of map it out, and they can't, because they can't. It's so not intelligent. It's not
possible. You need the soul spark.
Yeah.
By the transhuman agenda. They're trying to blend with us so they can live through us, have the experience through us. Whatever. Good luck with that. Mine's my own, bitches. And furthermore, if I was going to let one of them hitchhike, they better fucking make me beautiful, rich, and in influence and power. You know? Like, don't fucking keep me down under thumb and think you're going to co-opt me too, bitches. Reward day, but yeah, anyway, dig it.
Well, I've also noticed that when they talk about how it's all about the self and it's all about coming home and saying no, I still I still think to myself, Essence, come on, get back to it. It's like they haven't.
And she alludes to it though. The Lily Earth alludes to it. She's saying if you're connected with the core of Mother Earth, right?
Mm-hmm. Then you're going to be fine.
Well, in order to connect with the core of Mother Earth, we all know you can't do it from here.
You've got
to. You can't.
Yeah.
It's not an intellectual pursuit. It's a balls feeling, because that's what you're going back to.
That really stuck out as well. That whole, if you're connected to Mother Earth, it reminded me, it instantly brought me to how symbiotic the relationship is to her. So it's like, of course, that it comes back to self again. It comes back to that remembering.
That's what I'm saying about this whole thing with Breath of Life. You can't go wrong.
No.
I mean, yes, we love people to come and see us. That's why we charge money for our time and efforts. But, this is service. If we can put this out over the airwaves as service, there it is. Breath of Life, bitches.
Yeah. Connect.
Just keep doing that and the rest will reveal.
Yeah. Totally.
I mean, do you have to start your MerKaBa? It's worked for us. It's allowed all of us to create our own experience, to be in the matrix but not of it. Mm-hmm. To choose when to be able to interface and how our interface works. So I say, if you're going to fucking be straddling two worlds, start that bitch up. Because we know that when we move or when we want to experience another dimension of self, it's what sphere is the primary sphere. It's nothing to do with fucking taking off on a chariot and fucking wow.
Yeah. I was thinking about it today as well, like, is a MerKaBa necessary for that? And I just thought, why the fuck not? It's really...
Well, define MerKaBa. You know what I mean? It's like, what do these people think a MerKaBa is? Because it says chariot and all this shit in the Bible. Listen, they can implant anything.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I wouldn't be looking at, and this was in the Osirian temple and this was in that. Yeah, right. How convenient.
That's what I got in my ride as well today. And I brushed it off thinking, oh yeah, whatever. But now that you mention it, that how they can fuck with time.
It's and not time they can fuck. No, they can time travel.
Well, it's sort of the self has to be the reference point, because at any given perceived linear time that we're in, like right now, anything can be changed at any given moment. And so
nothing inserted into reality.
Yeah, I got that actually it was quite clear, but I didn't trust it at the time, thinking, oh yeah, whatever. But now that you mention it, it puts it together for sure. Yeah. It has to come down to self. MerKaBa or no, it has to come back down to essence.
Totally. So from my experience now in removing that chakra system and really connecting that soul star to these electromagnetic fields and really riding Mu's Kundalini or Mu's creative energy. And I've felt her. I've viscerally felt this being, just, I forgot what I was saying. I was just getting off the middle of it all.
We're talking about connecting the soul star to the magnetics.
Like, whatever your definition of what you think a MerKaBa is, it won't matter. That'll all just reveal to you how it should be. Because that's certainly what's been happening for me. I definitely feel this upgrade, ingrade, outgrade, new etheric anatomy, which is really old.
Yeah.
Is the shiz. I mean, I feel 10 foot tall and bulletproof. I can feel literally myself healing. But at the same time, I can feel myself heal as Mumu heals. And the other thing they were talking about was that heat.
Yes.
Have you had any of those experiences?
Well, I've been thinking back to it because it seemed to really be a thing. And the way that she described it, no, I can't say that I have. But since last time, or maybe the time before when I came up to visit you and J-Man, when I had that real trip of a ride, right? From that moment, I began to feel that heat up my back, that small of my back coming up. And it's normally when I ride, and I haven't felt that before. That's the sort of heat that I have not experienced until now.
Okay.
So, but it's not to that degree of which you and the other girls have described.
And Johnny's been getting it too.
Wow, so he described the same thing.
Yeah, because I'm looking at him going, are you hot? He's like, oh, yeah. And he's going, like, from here. You know, like, what I mean is we definitely both felt overheated, and it wasn't because the heater was on. Like, you know.
Oh, wow.
I mean, there's times when you know and there's times when you know. Like, you know.
There's not menopause because he's had it and Johnny's had it.
I'll have what they're having. Not menopause. If that's, it doesn't come, it comes from the soul star. That ain't menopause, bitches.
Comes from the soul star.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like this is where the meltdown begins.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's where the fucking flaring starts.
Mm.
It definitely happens. I was going to say in a symbiosis with the earth, because when it happens, I feel completely connected to the earth. You know, I don't feel like something wrong's happening or I'm readjusting or anything. It's like I'm just riding with her. And then all of a sudden I realise how hot I am and I got fucking sweat coming off me. And do you know what I mean? So it's not like I'm just, overcome. It's not.
Yeah.
Definitely feels directed and purposeful. But anyway, yeah, the heat. So that's a tripper. But yeah, I feel really cool about, you know, it's just, this is the thing, they get things and they co-opt the terminology just like they did with MerKaBa originally, just like they were doing or coming up with sovereignty. Because as I've said before, I'm sorry, but you need to have integrity with sovereignty. You can't just, it's all about me. You actually have to have some backing, bitches. You know?
Yeah, it's being self-involved. It's being
not a good commercial. Not a good commercial. So, yeah.
But that's also, once again, reflected in experience wisdom and a concept. So when you really are in sovereignty, you fucking know you are. It's a reality. Whereas those who kind of talk about sovereignty, they don't actually experience that.
They talk about it. They don't radiate.
No.
They talky. And sovereignty.
And
but you still keep listening. Well, you're waiting for the actual explanation. They just keep talking. And then someone else can talk about it and they only have to use the word sovereignty. But they embody it in such a way that you get it.
Yeah. It's a transmission. It's a transmission.
We love a transmission, darling. We love a transmission. That's what we should transmit on the National Broadband Network. Ooh, I feel a little bit of reverse engineering coming on.
I'm liking.
Transmit that, bitch.